As you're aware, many countries across the globe are finding themselves overextended fiscally, with expenditure commitments that are much greater than their capacity to pay for with domestic revenues. The result is a rapid increase in national public debt. The IMF Fiscal Monitor indicates that public debt in 2017 exceeded 105% of GDP in advanced economies on average, over 50% of GDP in emerging and middle-income economies, and over 40% of GDP in low-income countries. Zambia and Kenya, two of the countries represented at this conference, have public debt levels that are approaching 60% of GDP and still rising, as fiscal deficits are still quite large. These are not comfortable levels of debt and leave many countries subject to a growing burden of debt service, rollover risk, private sector crowding out, and limited scope for countervailing fiscal policies in the event of an economic shock. Now, improved revenue effort as part of a fiscal consolidation is therefore a high priority for many governments in the region. It is in this context that we in IGC have organized what we hope will be a constructive and useful conference that brings officials tasked with revenue enhancement from many regional governments, together with researchers who have undertaken country-specific research that offer evidence and ideas for tax design and enforcement of policy. IGC believes that evidence-based research can be valuable and even critical as an input to addressing the fiscal challenges that confront many governments. In opening this conference, I would like to acknowledge and thank the officials from Ministries of Finance and Revenue authorities who have traveled to Lusaka for this conference. Dennis Mukama from the Rwanda Revenue Authority, Millie Nalukwago and Ronald Waiswa from the Uganda Revenue Authority, Charles Adaye from the Ghana Revenue Authority, Sandra Andrade from the Mozambique Revenue Authority, Joseph Sirengo from the Kenya Revenue Authority, and Bernard Apen from the Kenya National Treasury. All of you, a very warm welcome. The Zambia Revenue Authority is, of course, well represented in this room and in various sessions. We also have a great group of young and talented researchers who will be presenting at this conference. I would like to thank them for their participation and look forward to an engaging day of discussion. IGC country economists from various parts of Africa, as well as colleagues from our London hub, have also traveled to participate in this event. The program you have, and you should all have a copy in front of you, should give you a sense of the various sessions, and it will require that we manage time well. So I would appreciate your cooperation in returning from breaks as requested. My colleague, Dennis Chiuelo, will be helping us make and manage time. I should also ask you to fill out the feedback form that you may have in front of you. It's going to be important for us to get a sense of how this conference went. So we would appreciate your responding on the feedback form. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Emmanuel Pamu, Permanent Secretary of Budget and Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, Government of Zambia, to offer his remarks and to open the conference. Dr. Pamu?
Good morning, everyone. The Permanent Secretary is present here. I don't know if there's anyone, but we expected them to be here. Mr. Kingsley Chanda, the Commissioner General, ZRA, Dr. Anand Rajaram, Country Director of the International Growth Center, Zambia, Dr. Adnan Khan, Research Director, London School of Economics, senior government officials, particularly those coming from participating African countries, distinguished researchers, representatives from cooperating partners, heads of institutions, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to this regional conference on international experiences in tax policy design and enforcement. As a ministry, we are extremely pleased to be co-hosting this event with the International Growth Center. As part of this meeting, we are joined by international researchers from the IGC Research Network, as well as officials from Kenya, Ghana, Mozambique, Uganda, Rwanda, and Sierra Leone. And my hope is that we shall share and learn from our experiences to make our tax systems more fair, equitable, and efficient. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to emphasize that tax policy, its instruments, design, and enforcement are very central issues in the macroeconomic environment of any country. This is because the effects of a well-designed tax system have far-reaching implications for both public and the private sector. In Zambia, it is important to point out that the government has undertaken several tax-related reforms over the past few years, and some are still ongoing. The reforms have been aimed not only at increasing revenue collection, but also ensuring that collection is efficient. In addition, while several measures have been implemented by the government, there is still room for improvement, especially with opportunities to strengthen the use of internal and external data for robust analysis and use of data from the outcome of tax audits, for instance, to improve tax compliance. I'm therefore delighted that the International Growth Center, through this tax conference, will contribute towards the standards of informed policy formulation. Some of the key focus areas of this tax conference that are particularly relevant for Zambia as it seeks to broaden its tax base. These are the taxation of high net worth individuals. This is one of the key topics addressed in this conference, bearing in mind the recent observed increase in income inequality. Number two, enhancing VAT compliance. Number three, the taxation of small, medium, and micro enterprise sector, in which the majority of our labor force works. The Ministry of Finance in Zambia is in the process of preparing the 2019 national budget, and we have been engaging various key stakeholders to inform the budget formulation process and the 2018 to 2020 medium-term budget framework. This, on our part, is a demonstration of government's commitment to involve citizens in the decision-making process, while at the same time ensuring that consensus is built on how some of the challenges we've been facing as a country can be addressed. I would like to commend the IGC for a continued collaboration through research with the government. As a ministry, our expectation is that this tax conference will provide a platform to exchange views on the ways in which common tax policy challenges can be addressed and overcome, and hopefully establish a basis for further engagement. It is our sincere hope that the discussions during the conference event will analyze additional fresh thinking and ideas to inform policy formulation. With these few remarks, I wish to declare the conference officially open and wish you God's blessings.